Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Synergy, because for every original idea, or even halfway original one, there's a studio willing to do it again, and again, and again.
And again one more time with a little bit of moxie.
A little bit, and that's when the idea is actually original and not based on a book. Like this month's episode. Anyways, I'm Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll.
And I am Greg, aka Greg.
And this is a series based around the idea that lots of movies that come out are based on something that's already come out. So now, we're looking back at the quote-unquote originals. And I say that even though we're doing The Wizard of Oz, and this is actually not the original Wizard of Oz movie.
Wait, it's not?
No, there are some older adaptations than this.
Oh, really?
I believe they're all silent.
You know, I've actually never sat through a silent film.
I think I've done a couple here and there. It's not really my thing. Technology's really evolved, as has the art form.
Right.
But yeah, no, since we're coming up on the release of Wicked, apparently still part 1, even though they're not advertising it as such.
Is this going to be a thing like how at the end of After Earth, it's like, what the fuck was that movie? And it's directed by M. Night Shyamalan. It's like, oh. I feel like that's what we're going to get.
We might. What do you even say about this movie? I mean, it's a long-standing classic, of course.
Yeah, it's a very beloved movie for the past 80 years.
Yeah, it's also not the first one to be filmed in Technicolor either, so it's really not the most groundbreaking thing ever.
No, but it still was taking advantage of a new technology, and while I do not know what the first movie to use Technicolor is, or was rather, I would probably argue that this is one of the best, just based on the production values of this movie alone.
Which is really funny, because part of why we decided to do Wizard of Oz for this month is specifically because you had mentioned that the last time you saw it was as a child, and you hated it.
Yeah, I remember seeing it as a kid, and just finding this movie just so boring. And not caring for it at all. And boy, I'm glad I rewatched this as an adult. A, because my opinion is completely flipped. This movie is really, 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 really good. And B, my desire to quip on movies does not change for classical movies.
Oh no, absolutely not. No, this is an absolutely wild trip where we get to watch an innocent farm girl from Kansas be used as a pawn in political machinations by an evil witch masquerading as a good one to take out her competition.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if you're going off Wicked continuity, you're watching an innocent farm girl from Kansas be the subject of political machinations by a witch who's trying to get her ex-girlfriend free of persecution and out of the public eye.
¿Por qué no los dos?
You know what? Yeah, maybe it's both.
It could be both for this.
No, but Glinda's terrible, yeah? We can all agree?
Yeah, a little bit.
She's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably jumping ahead a little bit, but I remember, was it a joke that you were making when we were watching the movie, and you said, is it going to stay like this the whole time, regarding the sepia tone? Or did you genuinely just forget that it was going to turn color?
I did forget, because I want to reiterate, the last time I watched this movie, I was 8.
Okay.
8 or 9. And I fucking hated it.
It's a little unfair of me to find that amusing, because I know everybody has to watch a movie for the first time eventually. But it's just, it was really funny to me to like, that's part of the whole shtick of this movie, is that a good solid, 20 minutes in, it turns into a color film.
Yeah. I was just like, well, wait, is this orange? Why is this orange? I don't remember this is orange.
It's sepia, technically. It's a little more brown than orange, but that's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta wonder, the film's transition to color, what does that represent in-universe? Does Dorothy naturally live in a world devoid of color? Is this like stepping out onto a porch with a brand new sense that she's never experienced? Is this what it's like to witness Cthulhu? Something that your mind was not meant to comprehend? Secrets man was not meant to know?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I can't answer that for you. I think you need to shrink.
Oh, definitely, but this isn't the channel for that.
I don't know. I kind of took it as... By the way, I don't think we're going to be really worried about spoiling a movie from 1939.
Yeah, spoilers are free reign in these things. If you don't want us to spoil the movie, watch the movie first, then get back to us.
Yeah, exactly. But it's one of those things where one of the things that the movie tries to convey at least a little bit is the idea that maybe this was all a dream, which it clear as fuck wasn't. And it's a transition from the normal world to the colorful dream world. But I don't think that's it, because I personally am not in the camp of, oh yeah, this was all a dream. I do think this actually happened to Dorothy.
Oh, you know something really funny? That was originally, that ending was put in by the producers because they thought that a 1939 audience was too sophisticated to be willing to accept that, yeah, this straight-up fantasy world exists, so we have to make it a dream.
This is the world before isekai.
Oh, man. In a way, it's the original isekai, isn't it? Maybe not the original.
This is one of the first isekai. You have our main character in a miserable situation, and then just some disaster happens. She gets whacked on the head, or goes through something that would probably actually kill a real person. I've been transported to this fantasy land where I'm all-powerful.
This can't be... You know, I'll say maybe it's one of the first isekai in American film, but I can't imagine. It's definitely not the first one.
No, I mean, probably not, but definitely one of the first majorly successful cinematic ones. And this was a massively successful movie, because one of the things I did in my free time was that I looked up the budget for this movie adjusted for inflation, because this movie originally had a budget of $2.8 million. That's $63 million today.
That's still insanely low.
And again, it's especially crazy because, granted, I haven't watched a lot of movies from the 30s. It's pretty much just this and Casablanca for me personally.
Don't forget Dracula's Daughter. Make sure to check out that Cinema Synergy if you haven't seen it. Wink, wink.
Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha. But the production on this movie is completely insane. The effects, the coloring, the sets... everything in the production of this movie. The pyrotechnics are good, because there's a good number of pyrotechnics. You have no power here.
So many people ended up in the hospital because of this movie.
Oh, yes. Very much so.
No, that was a running gag while we were watching the movie, because there's a bit when the Wicked Witch of the West first shows up and is threatening Dorothy. Glinda just says, "You have no power here, now be gone." And she does, but she explodes in a giant ball of red smoke and fire, to which we're just like, "Oh, but you got no power here, huh?"
Yeah! You got spontaneous combustion for dramatic effects. You have no power here. You
can open the portal to hell. You have no power here.
It's such a weird connection, but it reminds me of a clip from, I want to say, the Italian Grand Prix in either 2004 or 2006. And I showed you this clip earlier, where Michael Schumacher and Juan Pablo Montoya get into a tussle at the beginning of the race, and when they're asked about it after the race, Michael Schumacher just goes, it's like, well, I was just going for the turn, and I didn't see him, so it's unfortunate what happened. And then everyone, including all of the journalists in the room, are looking at the replay, and Juan Pablo Montoya's looking at it going, yeah, no, it's funny, because I was getting in front of him, and you actually see my car in front of me. He's like, oh, no, I didn't see him. And
Nice.
Literally halfway across the car, is like, oh, no, I didn't see him. Everyone in the room, including all of the journalists, just laugh at Michael Schumacher, and it's great.
Deserved.
Very. It's just the same level of just abject absurdity, but it's like, I'm sorry, what? Did you just see what we saw? And doesn't she also show up in other weird-ass ways, too, where it's just like, yeah, you have no power here.
I mean, I assume that they only meant in Munchkinland that she doesn't have any power there, or maybe just because Glinda's around, but no, you have no power here, great.
We may have been milking that.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate, though. That same fireball of brimstone and hell that she vanishes in actually resulted in third-degree burns to the actress's face and hands.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I guess what happened was, when she disappears, she's actually going through a trap door.
Ooh, I can already see how that's a problem, because that means that she's descending into the fire.
I don't know if she was descending into the fire, but I guess the actual problem is they delayed dropping the trap door so it wouldn't be visible. So that resulted in the paint that was on her hands and face igniting.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah, had to spend 3 months recovering from that.
Jesus Christ.
Terrible, terrible.
Let's see. Well, now I'm curious, did she do any other acting gigs after that? Like, immediately after that?
I don't know about immediately. I know she made a whole thing. She's apparently a very lovely lady, and actually an educator, too.
Oh, okay.
She was very concerned about that role convincing children forevermore that she was a horrible person.
Oh.
She actually appeared on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood to help debunk that notion, and explain the concept of acting.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's very sweet.
Oh, quite.
No, lots of people had problems. Originally, Buddy Ebsen was going to play... He was supposed to play the Scarecrow first, but Ray Bolger really wanted to play the Scarecrow. He was actually inspired by the stage adaptation Scarecrow from 1902. So, he was practically begging to be the Scarecrow, and Epson was like, okay, that's fine, I'll be the Tin Man, only to then get sick from inhaling the aluminum dust they were using to do the Tin Man makeup.
Welcome to the late 1930s, where medicine is still really shit, and so is science in general, so it's like they don't think about stuff like this.
Yeah, so then he had to leave the production, and Jack Haley ended up playing the Tin Man instead.
Ooh, that sucks.
Well, Ray Bolger got his own little, bit of comeuppance because the Scarecrow makeup process ended up leaving permanent lines around his mouth and chin.
Really?
Yeah, because they actually just glued it to his face.
Oh my god.
Damn good effect, but hot damn.
Wow, yeah. I'm looking at a couple later pictures of Bolger, and yeah, they're there. That's really unfortunate, honestly.
And of course, Judy Garland suffered a whole bunch of abuse on the set of this, and other things. The Hollywood system was not kind to her. I'm not going to get into it, because it's just gross and terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And we aren't really doing that much better, are we now, Hollywood? Shame on you.
Brought to you by your friends at the Weinstein Company. Oof. Oof.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I can't be too anti-Dorothy on this one. Glinda's the real enemy, never forget that.
Glinda's weird.
Glinda? Oh, you've just arrived and killed one of my main rivals for power? I'm going to use you as a figurehead to achieve my goals. Tee!
Yes, but right before that, I'm going to have 10 fucking minutes, at least, of everyone singing about the murder you just committed. That was genuinely very uncomfortable for me.
No, but it's the Wicked Witch of the East. It's fine that she's dead.
Yeah, it's a thing of, okay, I get that this woman is deeply disliked, but there's a certain point where I'm just, they're still singing about how much this girl who came out of nowhere just murdered the fuck out of this witch and how great it is. This is getting a little bit weird.
Greg, are you saying, I might cut this bit, are you saying you would take exception to people taking a 10-minute musical number to celebrate the death of Adolf Hitler?
Well, man, that's a hard one.
See, I'm establishing precedent.
That's a difficult. On a principle level, I don't really enjoy the idea of deeply celebrating people dying, even if they're really horrible people. But there is a part of my brain that very much goes, there is a particular and very, very obvious and strong exception for one Adolf Hitler. It has.
Well, what if I told you the Wizard of the Wicked Witch of the East was functionally Hitler? I don't know that she is, but
yeah. Well, we don't really learn a lot about her other than the fact that she hates the fuck out of Dorothy.
She was terrorizing the hell out of Munchkinland, too. There's also that.
Oh, fair.
Yeah. Well, at least according to Glinda, who
is totally a trustworthy source. I mean, she's proved her trustworthiness after telling the Wicked Witch, you have no power here, lights herself on fire and leaves. What was that? You sure about that, Glinda? She looks pretty powerful to me.
That's also one of my favorite bits, just for when she says, now be gone, before somebody drops a house on you too. And the Wicked Witch of the West just looks up all around, startled, like, what? Is that a thing?
Do houses just magically fall on people on the regular? Is it a pandemic in Munchkinland?
Is this the mythical housing market crash I've heard so much about?
Oh my god. It would definitely be more entertaining, that's for sure.
Oh boy. Now, the production design of this movie, amazing. I mean, it's a little bit stage show in the fact that some of the backgrounds are obviously painted, but they're such beautiful paintings and they meld with the scenery so good, and the costumes, those trees that throw apples, astounding.
Yeah, when those trees showed up, that was something where I had to do a double take and be like, no, there's a person in that. Because at this point, when you have something as over the top as that, for me at least, I autofill it as being CGI, and I had to actively remind myself, no, there's a human being in there. This is well before CGI was an established process.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You got a favorite between Scarecrow, Lion, and Tim the Tin Man Taylor?
No, I'm upset that I didn't record that bit.
That's why I wrote it down for you.
Oh,
that
good.
was a really good line you had.
I feel like, it's interesting because I can identify something from all of these characters. I think Tin Man was probably my favorite overall, but all three of them are really good. I want to say as a kid, the Tin Man creeped me out as well. So that
strange.
might have been what did it too. But honestly, all of them are really good. All of them have really good development and character arcs and distinct personalities as well, and they all bounce off one another and bounce off of Dorothy really well, too, during their various shenanigans.
Yeah, I gotta give it up to the Lion, though. I'm a big fan of the Lion. He's just got so much weird, sassy energy.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I don't care if there's a witch. I'll get in there and I'll brutalize him. I'll tear him apart. I just need you guys to do one thing. What's that? Talk me out of it.
I can't imagine how much the actor had to be burning to death in that outfit, though.
Oh yeah, apparently that included real lion skin and fur.
Ooh, you can't do that anymore. That's for sure.
No, you cannot. Careful, you'll get Craven the Hunter on your ass.
For real?
He's an animal lover and protector of nature, don't you know? Fuck you, Sony!
We now interrupt this program to bring you a 5-second Sony rant.
I don't know where that came from, I apologize. I know exactly where it came from.
I was gonna say, he doesn't know where it came from, he says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, this is a surprisingly... I mean, I feel like none of the musical numbers are anything that I would listen to in a vacuum, but in the context of the movie, they were amazing. Okay, well, Somewhere Over the Rainbow I'd probably listen to in a vacuum, but...
Yeah.
Everything else is a little too context-dependent on the movie to work, especially because a lot of these numbers are broken up with dancing and slapstick and other crazy things, like just doing petty vandalism to get the lion a flower pot crown.
No, the music in this movie is top-notch. I am not a fan of musicals for the most part, but all the songs in this were pretty good. If I did have any complaint, it's towards the second half of the movie. It is a thing where a lot of the music really likes having the same motif, and that became very noticeable very quickly.
I think that works to its favor, personally. I like that each of the three sidekicks kind of got their own verse to reprise what they want from the wizard, and then it follows the same thing. I kind of like that.
Right.
Although, I could definitely... Oh god, I'm just imagining a modern-day remake where they've each got different styles.
Oof.
Scarecrow is, I don't know, country and banjo or something, and then Tin Man is, I don't know, electronic dance music
Tin
or
Man
something.
is nu metal.
Oh, I don't like this. I don't like that idea at all.
The Tin Man is a metal singer.
Oh, I did also find out what happened to the... Well, I didn't find out what happened to the horse, but I found out how they did the horse of a different color. It was Jell-O powder.
Oh, like the dessert.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's smart.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Isn't gelatin in part ground up horse bones? That's fucked up! What the fuck? What did you do to Snowflake?
Snowflake didn't deserve that shit.
Jesus fucking Christ, this movie's a monster!
Yeah, it is.
Fuck!
Oh, that's funny.
Oh no. I could be exaggerating. I don't actually know what's in gelatin.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Jell-O, so I am not qualified to answer that.
Oh, man, I don't trust that at all, though. I feel like we should probably be, I don't know, summing up the movie, but I feel like at this point, most people have seen it, and if you haven't seen it, you probably don't care that we're spoiling it.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where this movie is also genuinely good historical media. This is a movie that is legitimately considered one of the greatest movies in all time, and does actually have a place in the Library of Congress.
100%.
Yeah, if that's not high praise, I don't know what is at that point.
Let's see. Okay, when they're going to try to get the broomstick from the witch, and the lion's got a butterfly net and a witch bug sprayer or something that's got witch remover on it. Things I didn't notice when I was a kid. Scarecrow's got a fucking gun!
That was great. They have all this weapon, and Scarecrow's got that motherfucking thing on him.
My boy came rolling up strapped. You kidding me? Fuck!
Scarecrow's got that heat. That was
He ain't fucking around.
That was something that I did not expect, because I think everyone else had a hand weapon. Everyone just has a shovel and a stick and something else, and Scarecrow legit has a tiny revolver.
He's got a fucking gun! And he never uses it either!
No, he doesn't.
Where did he get a gun in Oz? Who gave him that gun? Oh
I don't know, John Browning would have been alive at that time, I'm pretty sure, so it's...
Alright.
John, we need a gun. I'm sorry, what? Actually, no, John Browning would have been dead at that point, never mind.
Okay, you know what? Obviously, this doesn't make it worth every horrible thing Judy Garland went through on the set of this movie, and just generally, but she does a really good job, because she does a really good job selling innocent and a little bit naive, but also not infuriating.
No, yeah, not at all. If anything, she goes with the flow pretty well.
But she's also cool to stand up for her friends, and I respect that. Because when the wizard intimidates the lion into passing out, and she calls him out on being a bully because the lion came to him for help, and he just scared the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Now, I know you have thoughts about the wizard, because I heard them.
You know what's funny? I don't remember what I said.
As I recall, you were very upset about the actual things he gave them, the stand-ins for what they wanted. Like giving Scarecrow a diploma.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. Well, in particular, the whole diploma bit got me a little bit, given current events, which we're not going to go into on this show.
Nope, not even a little bit.
But it's a thing of what it basically boiled down to. It's like, it's not the brain, it's how you use it. It's just...
It's not... No, see, that's not the lesson. The wizard is just a con man. He's a fraud.
Yes.
He's a Smeckledorfer. So it's not about the brain, it's how you use it. It's not about having a brain. It's about having proof of education.
Which is just... Alright, I have an education. How do you know? I won an essay contest.
An essay contest!
That's... No. Stop.
No, I love that. And then he tries to bring Dorothy home, but he ends up messing with the balloon that he doesn't know how it works, so how did he even get there? I mean,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Part...
Wait, don't leave without me. It's like, I can't stop it. I don't know how it works. You should be dead. you should actually be dead.
Maybe he is. We never see him make it back. He could be dead. He probably deserves to be.
Right.
He's a puppet ruler. He's a figurehead. The real money behind the throne is Glinda. We all know this. And then she just pops up and goes, "Oh yeah, you could have gone home anytime you wish." Tee!
That would have been nice to know when she got there, considering one of the first things she said was, "I want to go home."
Yes, but then I couldn't have overthrown my political rivals. Tee! God, I hate Glinda.
Yeah, Glinda's questionable.
She never says she's a good witch, technically. Dorothy calls her a good witch, but that's only because when Dorothy says she's never seen a beautiful witch before, she thought all witches were old and ugly. Glinda says only evil witches are ugly, but that doesn't mean that only ugly witches are evil.
Right.
Glinda could still be an evil witch. No, I think Glinda's just straight up evil. I think she organized this whole thing. I know Wicked shed some extra light in the relationship, it makes it more nuanced, but in the context of just the original Wizard of Oz movie, I maintain Glinda's the bad guy, just like Wanda Maximoff. You knew I'd bring it there eventually.
Two crazy-ass magical people? Yep, that fits, that tracks.
I've talked about evil witches, gotta make it about Wanda Maximoff. So Dorothy gets back, and Toto is still doomed, right?
Probably.
Unless Miss Gulch actually died in that tornado. Otherwise, your problem's not actually solved, which is very unfortunate.
Quite.
But at least you learned something about how there's no place like home, even though your problem wasn't really about not liking your home, it was more about just, your dog.
Yeah, there's no place like home, even though my home is always sepia. I would have a problem with that. I would have a big problem with that if my home was constantly sepia.
Well, you wouldn't know. Well, I guess you would know having returned from Oz. It's like Prometheus being given fire. You've been enlightened. You cannot reject the knowledge that you have been gifted. You are cursed with it. I have seen color, and it was beautiful, and now I have returned to this sepia-toned hellscape.
Right.
Where the houses are well constructed enough that they don't fall apart in a hurricane, but not well constructed enough to stay on the ground. It's pretty impressive. That whole window pane came off when it conked her in the head.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure the glass didn't shatter or nothing. It was just the whole window pane came off, conked her on the head, and went about its merry business.
Okay, I thought it was a thing if the glass had just, already separated itself and she just got bonked only by the wood.
I think it was the whole window pane. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to look back at that.
Yeah, then that really had to hurt.
She's lucky she's not dead. Maybe she is.
I mean, it is the original isekai.
It is the original isekai. Not the original, but it's one of the originals. I mean, hell, Alice in Wonderland, the novel, came out in 1865. That's an isekai.
Yeah, it is.
Well, is it an isekai if she didn't get hit by anything first?
But she did die, right?
No, she just fell down a rabbit hole, which I guess could be a metaphor for death. Then again, Overlord's definitely an isekai. He didn't get hit by anything. I guess he got hit with a server deactivation. It's not important. I feel like I'm skipping over an absolute lot in this movie, but this is getting to about the point where we usually cut this. Got anything else you desperately want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Great.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Cool. Well, let us know in the comments what you think about Wizard of Oz. I'm assuming you've seen it, especially if you stuck around this long. And if you have stuck around this long and you haven't already, hey, thanks for watching, but also if you could like, comment, subscribe. I should have put this earlier in the video, but whatever. It helps us out a lot, and we appreciate it.
We do indeed.
And next time, it's pretty much either Sonic or I've got a really funny idea.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we'll see.
That pause did not help.
No, it didn't. But, hey, thanks for watching, everybody, and remember,
like your podcasts.
pay your rent. And remember, kids, I don't have anything. Bye. I don't know I can't bring it back. I don't know how it works. Goodbye!
Goodbye, everybody.